Morning, Hank.
Hi, Stan. Hey, I think I will be at your birthday celebration. My daughter was going to be here, so I wasn't going to come, but now she's coming later, so I think I will be there.
I'm having a little trouble with audio. Give me a minute. Okay, would you repeat that, please?
I said I will be at your birthday celebration.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Looking forward to it. I'll mark it down right now. I got the list right here. Let me see. How many are you?
Probably just one, maybe two. I'll
That's all right.
have to see. I don't know if I'll bring my wife or not.
Okay, it's
Kind of depends on how she's doing that day.
yeah, I understand. That'll be fine. Whatever. Thank you for the confirmation. I made a note of it. My little hearing aid Bluetooth device, the microphone is not working. So I find that I can set it up so I use the microphone of my laptop computer and the speakers of the Bluetooth. The speaker is working fine, but I can't reach my no.
I think your sound is easier to understand. Right.
Yeah, I'm using my Bluetooth device. I think I dropped some cereal into it or something. I have an appointment with the VA audiology to have them take a look at it. But it's working the way it's working now.
There's Mr. Mufon.
Morning, Saul.
Good morning.
Morning, Stan. Your voice is nice and clear and loud.
Okay, well, that's thanks to my Dell laptop microphone.
My new system, mesh system is not in the way it's supposed to. So I got to find out what's going on.
Yeah, you were cutting out a moment ago, Will, but you're back.
Hey, Will, have you checked the focus on your camera? I know my external camera has a manual focus on it, and when I play around with it, I have to play with the manual focus on my external camera. And yours seems to be distinctly out of focus.
Which apparently is also applying to his Wi-Fi connection.
Hmm. Hey, Hank.
Yeah.
I'll be getting my agenda out to the board. And again, I would like to host the meeting using my version of Zoom. but the agenda, there'll be an agenda item to discuss whether we should continue that practice, if that's all right with you.
Sure. My problem with you doing this is it really complicates my life as far as getting a recording done and uploaded to YouTube. Because I've got to get it from you and then get it in the right place and then get it to YouTube and so forth.
Well, we'll discuss the pros and cons of it. And that your concern might be significant. And so that's fine with me. But I just want to bring it up to the board for their discussion. I don't know that anybody uses the chat window or would like to use it or have it available. That's the only advantage that my hosting has.
Yeah. And and the only thing that's different about the chat is a person can send something to an individual instead of to everybody.
Yes.
Okay,
And that may not be worthwhile.
let's wave it around on Saturday, next Saturday.
Yeah,
What
Hank's,
about,
I was gonna say Hank's voice sounds a little soft today. I don't know if he can adjust his microphone volume.
I can try. Let's see. Never done that before. Audio settings. Come on, where'd my mouse go? Oh.
I don't understand. I'm getting 100 megabit and I'm getting lousy Zoom connections.
Okay, how's my volume now?
Much better.
much better, yes.
Good.
And with regard to Will's comment, the 100 megabit may be locally, but it may not be what you're actually experiencing in the sense of internet.
You completely went silent.
I was saying that the 100 megabit you're reading maybe from your computer from Windows that's saying you have a 100 megabit connection could be just locally on your local network versus what you're getting out to the internet.
Can I tell the difference?
You can do a speed test.
I did. I did a speed test and it says 100 megabit,
Okay.
but yet it's acting very flaky.
It is indeed. So that line about us wanting to cut the cable to save money, in your case, ought to be the other way: is hook up the cable and forget about the Wi-Fi.
It's not a case of saving money. It's a case of being unable to run a cable from one end of the house to the other.
Yeah, well, we've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Will, I think you should turn up your microphone volume a little bit like I did.
Okay.
Might help if I put my hearing aids in.
Is that volume better?
Then you,
More or less?
It's a little better.
Is it better yet now? I'm cranking it up.
I'm better, but that's my hearing aids
Yeah.
in my ears. Better.
Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think that's good enough.
Okay. You're coming through loud and clear, Saul.
Anybody ever had a mouse USB connection die on them regularly?
You
I
mean the
have a
mouse itself?
wireless.
Wait a minute, everybody spoke at once.
I said, do you mean the mouse itself no longer works?
Yeah, all of a sudden, I hear ding, 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 and then I get a notice that says a USB device has just stopped working. And my mouse won't, my cursor won't move. So I pull the USB plug out of the distribution pack, plug it back in, and it goes ding, 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 and works fine for a while.
Yeah, it's the nature of USB, I think, more than the mouse itself.
The USB thing that has done that.
It's just the design of USB. It's a kind of party line thing, and it tries to do everything at once, and sometimes it gets a little confused.
Welcome to the club.
Dan has his virtual hand up.
Hello, virtual Dan.
I'm having problems with a mouse on a laptop, the Dell laptop, and it quits working when the machine warms up after a bit. So I think what I need to do is to get rid of that laptop. But I've tried several mice and so on and so forth, and it will work for a short period of time when I first power it up, and that's it. And that's on either Windows or Ubuntu, so both of them have the problems. And it is the mouse. It is not the mouse because I've replaced the mouse.
Is it the mouse port? Is it have you tried a different, do you like using a USB dongle? Have you tried a different port?
This laptop only has 2 USB ports. And I've tried both of them, and both of them had the same problem. I can see this circle up at the top of the screen kind of bouncing around, which is the mouse, and I can't get it to move. It comes down to do anything.
And Dan, this is a wired mouse.
Both. The wired mouse I'm having problems with now, yes. First,
I just raised it because David presumed it was a wireless mouse.
But if the problem is with the port, it doesn't, whatever you plug into the port, it's going to have a problem.
yeah, it's either the dongle or the mouse that's plugged into the USB port.
Yeah. Well, that's why if you have a wired mouse, check with the wire. That way it eliminates if the problem is in the dongle or in the port.
Yes, but the problem showed up with a wireless mouse, and I inherited the machine at that time, and it worked for a while with a regular mouse, and until it warmed up, and then it died. And I can say I could power it down, leave it powered down for a while, and power it back up, and it works for a couple of minutes. And it dies again. So,
Well, since you've confirmed that you experience the same issue, whether it's running Windows or Linux, it's definitely a hardware problem of some sort. It's not the operating system drivers or anything like that.
yes, I think it's time to get rid of that computer.
Yeah, check to see if some kid stuffed some gum in the USB slot.
There's no kids around to stick gum in it, but
I just found that my laptop has another USB port on the other side of it that I had forgotten about. So I'm plugged into that now. We'll see. So far, so good. Hello,
Yes,
Alice.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Alice.
Hello, Ross.
Ross.
He's waving.
Waving Ross.
I wanted to ask
Well, yeah, Will, excuse me for not.
Saul, expand, you said something about having 2 different internet speeds. One was local and one was not. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, locally, you have your own network, whether it's wired or Wi-Fi, either way. It's just the local speed. Say, if you had more than one computer on that network and you're transferring files from one to another or connecting from one to the other, that's your local network speed. But that has nothing to do with your outside internet connection speed.
Okay, when I run speed test, though, that's a test.
That's going out over the internet to some server on the internet. Whereas
Yeah,
if
I'm
you,
getting 100 megabit, and I'm having Zoom problems right now that it is cutting in and out. I don't know what the problem is.
Well, you are on Wi-Fi, correct?
Correct? Yes.
So you could have interference with other devices in your home, interfering with the Wi-Fi signal to your computer.
there are lots of devices that broadcast on that 2.5 gigahertz band.
I'm
Yeah.
not on 5. I think I'm on 5G.
Either way, I bet if you do a Wi-Fi scan of Wi-Fi networks, there's probably dozens of them surrounding your unit in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and the Wi-Fi.
Well, when I run
You-
speed test, go ahead, Ross.
You're freezing up, Will, and cutting out.
I know. Don't understand why.
Will, you still have your hand up?
Well, I'll take it down.
So, Mr. Will, we've all mentioned to you that you need to try something different than your current Wi-Fi configuration, but that does not seem to work with you. I would have you run a wire temporarily from your modem to your desktop and see if those problems go away. If it does, then it's a problem with your Wi-Fi, either the distance or your router or the Wi-Fi card in your computer, something that's there. But again, you need to buy a maybe 100-foot cable from Best Buy or from Home Depot, and then just run it across the floor temporarily and see if your problems go away.
I'm running a mesh system, which usually runs very, very fast. As I say, I'm getting 100 megabit. And for some reason, the Zoom is giving me problems.
Yeah, and the only other thing I can think of is your test that goes to your speed test is going to a server it knows how to find. Maybe there's something in how your Zoom call is getting routed that's going through a slow link somewhere. But the rest of us don't have that problem, so.
Yeah. I'll work on it.
Anybody have any Zoom questions or problems this morning before I get started on the presentation for today?
I just noticed that I got a new Zoom update. I'm at 5:10.7 in case anyone is looking.
I'm sure I'm not that far. I
There
got,
was nothing exciting in the last several updates.
Yeah, but if you want to, if you're ever wondering, you can always, I usually I hit the update button before I join this meeting, just so I see if anything new happens. Hello, Fran.
yeah, I should have done that. Because I got bumped off this morning once. And that can be a problem with the recording.
Yeah, I'm down to 10 megabit now.
Because I often run the task manager and I just watch my Wi-Fi. Right now, with all of us on here, I'm using about 2 megabits per second through my Wi-Fi to see everyone in the meeting.
Oh, what program are you using to see that?
Just Task Manager.
Well, we got one more. Up to 15. So I'll wait another minute or so before we start the morning presentation. Teach you all how to avoid being hooked. This next, this scam that we're gonna learn about from Theo Joe this morning is really bizarre
Devious.
in my head.
Can I take a minute while we're waiting to discuss or to tell you about what I suspect was a scam I just got this week? Okay, first of all, I had email and then I had a letter come in the mail from an outfit called the Joint Academy. And they're telling me that my health plan has partnered with them to offer me physical therapy to me. So I called my insurance company to verify this, and they have never heard of them. As I said, they know nothing about it. And then what's today, Saturday, Friday, I did get a letter in the mail that even mentioned my health plan, which is alignment. So I talked to the insurance again, and they reassured me they had no contact with this company at all.
What's the name of the company again?
It's called Joint Academy.
Joint, J-O-I.
Correct. And they offer physical therapy online, and which is something I could really use, but I'm very hesitant to download the app. The app, you can't download it onto your computer. It has to go on your phone, apparently. So has anybody else heard of it? I mean, we're all at that age where we can use physical therapy.
Although I have to say, Barbara, I think you are right to be skeptical about this, and talking to the people they say they're aligned with is a good idea. Although my experience with some of the people on the other ends of those lines is they don't even know everything their own company does.
Well, I think I went to a pretty reliable source at the company to my information.
Yeah, well, but the thing is,
Yeah, I know.
Being appropriately skeptical is a good idea.
Mhm.
I just Googled them. It says Joint Academy offers a clinically proven digital treatment for chronic joint and back pain. So it's that kind of,
Right.
not the joint down the street that opens at 5.
No.
No, Hank, not your kind of joint.
Right.
Okay, I just thought I'd see if anyone else had heard from them or their insurance companies had reported any problems. Okay, thank you.
Well, Barb, I got a question. What insurance do you have that don't they cover physical therapy, or is there
Oh,
something?
yeah, I have Alignment Health Plan, which is excellent. I recommend it to everybody. And they have been covering my physical therapy when I have been going to the therapist, and they've been covering that, no problem. But it just kind of caught my eye if it was something I could do from home, and avoid the traveling. But
You might talk to your physical therapy people when you see them next and say, have they heard of this thing?
yeah,
Well, the other thing is that part of Medicare or something like that?
it's what Medicare.
Is your alignment part of, or whatever your insurance is? Is that part of Medicare, or this other group part of Medicare?
It's
I'm getting a lot of Medicare stuff.
yeah, it's a Medicare supplement plan that I have.
Oh, okay.
So Dan has his virtual hand up.
He had
Okay.
had it up for quite a while. I
Yes.
think
You can do a who is on those things, and sometimes you can find out a lot of information.
Yeah,
Who
Yeah.
is doing whatever.
yeah. Yeah, I've got to do more research before I do anything silly.
I would ask your physical therapist people, it's their business. They may have heard of it and either say yes or no, we've heard of that one in a bad way. So,
Yeah. Yeah, okay, thank you, David.
Well, the other thought is, you know, like, part of my Medicare supplement is I can go to alternatives and so forth. And so sometimes if you have that component, you might be able to add them and then they'll be covered for like $10 or something like that. But you might want to check to make sure whatever program they have is like coordinated with your program. So you're not doing something you shouldn't be doing with them.
Yeah, yeah.
Is what I mean.
yeah, it
all
sounds
right,
like
everybody, I'm going to mute everybody and then
Fran has a hand. Fran
Fran's
has
got a
hand.
hand up.
what say?
Fran has her hand up.
Just a quick bit on Barb's problem. Number one, it could be a place that is using a name so similar, which they do. Number two, if you've used physiotherapy before through Medicare, somebody got your name off the list and they're just trying to solicit you.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Fran.
Okay, here we go, everybody. You're all muted. And now I will share and start. Start the video.
There is a very clever new scam going around that you definitely need to know about. Or should I say it's an old scam that's becoming newly popular again. I've seen it being called the delayed disconnect scam, but basically it takes advantage of a lesser known feature in some phone systems to trick you. And the worst part about it is they can trick you doing this even if you do everything completely right. So it won't even be your fault, so you really need to know about it in order to defeat it. So first, here's how the scam goes, and then I'll go over how it actually works. So you get a phone call from someone claiming to be from your bank. They tell you your card has been compromised, your card has been hacked, whatever, the usual, and they tell you, you know what, you need to contact the number on the back of your card, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. So then you do that, you hang up, you call the number on the back of your card, correctly by the way, you call the correct number. So after dialing, someone picks up and they say, hi, this is whatever bank. But at this point, you have already been tricked. You are still talking to the scammer. Wait a minute, how did that just happen? So here's how the scam works. The first key to understand is that this is only going to potentially happen on landlines. You see, a lot of landline phone systems do not actually disconnect the call right away after you hang up the phone. Depending how the phone company has your specific system set up, if you, as the receiving party, hang up the call, however, the other caller does not hang up on the other end, then it will stay connected for anywhere from a couple seconds to several minutes until the original caller disconnects or that timer is reached. So in the meantime, if they didn't hang up, if you pick up the phone again, you'll still be talking to that same person. So what the scammer does is after they hear you hang up, they'll start playing a fake dial tone. So then when they hear you pick up again to call the number on the back of the card like you're supposed to, then they'll just stop the dial tone and then pretend to pick up as the bank. And obviously what's especially bad about this is you can do everything right and still be tricked if you just didn't know. So let me go over a few ways you can easily defeat the scam, and then afterwards we can talk a little bit more about this so-called feature and why it exists. Now the first way to avoid this scam, first of all, if you receive the call on your cell phone, then hanging up right away immediately disconnects the call. You don't have to worry about it. If you receive the call on a landline, what you can do is call using a totally different landline if you happen to have two, or more likely use a cell phone to call the number on the back of the card, not the landline you just received the call on. If you don't have a cell phone, you only have that landline, and you don't know how long the timer is for your particular phone company in your area, then you have no choice really but to wait 10 or 15 minutes even to be sure that that call was disconnected. One thing you could do is call your phone company to ask what this delayed disconnect time is, though you might have to go through a few people before they know what you're talking about. Or alternatively, you can have a friend call you. I don't know if this has to be done by the friend having a landline or cell phone, but you can have them call you, then you hang up and they stay on the line and basically time for you how long it takes until they start to hear a dial tone, which means that that's the amount of time that anyone is going to have to wait for the disconnect, and then you know. Also, one thing you could do to test it after not waiting the full amount of time is to dial a number that you know already, like maybe your friend's phone number. And then, obviously, if the scammer picks up again, or someone picks up saying, "Hi, this is your bank," while you just called your friend's phone number, then you know it's the scammer, and then you know that it was a scam. Now, you might be wondering, why does this feature even exist? It sounds like a nightmare in security. Well, I found a couple reasons. The first being the idea is you could hang up the phone and then pick it up in another room to continue a conversation without the other person having to call you again. And this was probably before cordless phones were a thing. Another reason that does make sense actually is so that if there was a weak connection between the two lines and it was cutting out, it wouldn't hang up every time there was a weak signal that occurred. But still, that would kind of not explain why it would go on for several minutes, maybe like a few seconds tops in there. But there are other big questions like, why does the call remain connected with a delay only if the receiving party hangs up, and why does it disconnect immediately when the original party hangs up? Why not the other way around? And why are there different delayed times? So let me get into explaining all that. Now, it actually took me quite a bit of digging to find out more details about this so-called feature or quirk of a phone system, whatever you want to call it, beyond what just some of the basic news articles were talking about when they were referring to the scam. And all the articles that I was reading about it referred to this feature as delayed disconnect. But it turns out that that's not actually the name of this feature. One extremely informational bit of info I found was from a scanned PDF of this obscure book that I found on Google Books, and it was called the Informatics Handbook. In one section, it describes the term call clearing, which basically is how the phone system disconnects the lines depending on conditions. It says call clearing, aka clear down or tear down, the orderly disengagement of a call in a switched network. Later on, here's the key though. It says, note that 3 different control approaches are used in telephone systems. First, the calling party clear approach, where the call is only cleared when the calling A party puts down the handset. Then there's the called party clear approach, where the call is cleared when the B party puts down the handset. And third, the first party clear, where the call is cleared when either puts the phone down. It then elaborates, the A party clear approach means that the receiver can put down the handset and move to another phone extension without losing the call. However, it leaves B party vulnerable to having a phone unable to receive calls if the A party does not hang up correctly. There are also implications in hacker scams involving entry into systems requiring callback procedures. So even in 1996, when this book was written 25 years ago, they already realized that this feature could be potentially used to scam people. So if you have a landline, this is definitely something you want to know. Which of the approaches your phone system from your phone company uses? Obviously, it sounds like first party clear makes the most sense. If either party hangs up, then the phone call should end. Even called party clear would be better. I mean, if you think about it, if you're the person who's receiving the calls, you don't really have control over who's calling you and how many times they call you, so you should definitely have control over whether or not you want to end those calls. So then why do phone companies even have this calling party clear approach? Well, apparently the logic is that the original caller is the one who's paying the bill and they're paying for the call, so they should theoretically be able to control when the call ends, but that still seems completely backwards to me. If someone receiving the call doesn't want to talk, then they should be able to end it. And I think most people will probably agree with me. I also did some more digging and found that the term used for the condition on a phone system where the called party hangs up but the line remains connected is something named called subscriber held, or CSH. And it turns out this phone system behavior or feature is pretty ancient. I even found it in this document about phone systems from 1941. So this has been around for a long time. So assuming a landline has called party clearing, how long is the actual delay? And like I mentioned before, that's going to depend on your phone company and potentially even the system that your local area phone system uses. And I already talked about the options where where you can call your phone company, hope that the person knows what you're talking about, or maybe have a friend test it with you and time it themselves. But again, I'm not 100% sure if this behavior still happens if the original caller is calling from a cell phone or if it has to be both people on a landline. Now, I wanted to know what the actual name of this delay or timer was so that if you called your phone company, you could specifically ask about it, but I couldn't really seem to find any universal name for it. Now, in the United Kingdom, at least, I was able to find a document from the NICC, which talks about UK interoperability standards, and they refer to it as the CSH timeout, called subscriber held. We mentioned that before. And it actually does have a specification called timer TO-01. And it looks like the NICC set a possible range that phone companies could choose for this timer, and it could be anywhere from 2 seconds to 3 minutes. And again, this is only in the UK. In the United States, I've seen cases where it could be longer, so it's not gonna apply everywhere. Also in this document, I found another timer called TO-03, which is apparently a backup timer in case the signal for the 01 timer failed to get sent or something. And again, everything in here seems to only apply to the UK, so this TO-01 timer might not be used anywhere else except in the UK. However, there was one statement by a Canadian telecom company called Shaw, where in their statement they referred to it as the call clearing delay time, and this is actually the same term used by British Telecommunications in their press release when they reduced that time. So it seems like this could be a pretty good term to use. Hopefully that now this scam is getting a lot more press attention, companies will kind of follow suit from the UK and reduce this greatly if they still have it implemented. There was actually one pretty major news story done in Canada, and the news agency CTV contacted several different companies in Canada to ask what their delay time was, and they got some responses. So Shaw Company did say that they will shorten the timer to combat the fraud, though they didn't give a specific number. Two other companies they contacted, TELUS and Rogers, said that theirs disconnect after 10 seconds, and one company, Bell, didn't say at all. Now, I was actually curious what the deal was in the United States, so I tried contacting AT&T and Verizon via support chat. Those are two really big companies in the US, and actually got responses. So here was my question. It was, hi, I'm trying to find out the call clearing delay time for landlines, meaning how long a phone call stays connected after the receiving party hangs up. Verizon said, thank you for reaching out to us. This varies from call to call, actually. Many things go into how long a line remains engaged after the call is completed and terminated by the handset. Cellular lines will disconnect and terminate faster than a traditional copper line would, but generally the line is terminated within 1 to 2 seconds. AT&T's response was this: the call will get disconnected right away after the receiving party hangs up. So assuming the representative knew exactly what I was talking about, it sounds like these companies use either first-party clearing or a very, very short disconnect time. But it maybe would still be worth it to test it out yourself just to be sure. In any case though, now that you at least know about this scam, you can be prepared for it if it ever happens to you. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you still have a landline, did you know that this was a thing that could happen with your phone line? Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe because I try to make a couple videos a week, so it should be worth it. If you guys want to keep watching, the next video I'd recommend is where I was talking about new scams in 2021. So definitely check that out. It should be worth a watch. You can just click on it right there. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
And we're back. And I see nobody's hand up, so I don't think there are questions about this.
Look at Fran's hand.
What's that?
I always got something to say. So I just want to take a survey by a show of hands. Landlines are kind of old school. We're a bunch of old school people. How many of us has a landline? So about 50-50. No, you're more than mine. Interesting. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Does anyone have only a landline?
Yeah,
Have what?
Question, David?
Yeah. To follow up on Fran's question, does anyone have only a landline? Or does everyone also have a cell phone? Okay.
Scratch
Patricia?
it doesn't count, Ross.
it's great having two phones because then you have, you know, I have two lines and then I can make calls, and while I'm on hold on another one, I can make another call. So it works great. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, you like being on hold?
Well, no, I don't like being on hold. I got other things to do. I can do my 4,000 emails, or I can, you know, just make another phone call. Right now I'm making other phone calls while I'm on hold. I was on hold to, I think Canon for over an hour. So I got a lot of stuff done. Yeah, you can get a lot done when you're on hold. But anyway, my question really wasn't a question. It was sort of a comment that I've noticed on my landline. It's got maybe have something to do with this or not, but it seems like whenever I make a call on my landline, I do all of the business on landlines. So I'll hang up, and I swear like 30 seconds later, I'll get a call. I'll get another call. So it's not like I hung up and everything, of course. So I don't know if that's got anything. And then when I look at the caller ID, it's like nobody I've ever heard of. So I never answer them, and then they never leave a message. So I don't know if that's got anything to do with what he's talking about or not.
Don't think so. Ross?
Does that have any, does anybody have that?
I've seen that before, but I always attributed that to, oh, well, someone was calling me that, you know, they got a busy signal, but they just kept that call open until I hung up, and then that call came through. But, you know, it's, hey, at least I was already on the phone when the call came through, so.
But well, actually, if they, I've got that caller waiter, whatever the heck it is. And so if another call is coming through, I will see who it is.
Yeah.
But that's not happened. This happens like right after I get off the phone, and like there's somebody else that's that I don't even know who it is. So anyway, I just thought I'd see if anybody else had that issue. And
So you mentioned you can see the caller ID, but it's not somebody that you recognize. So it's not something I would be concerned about. It's a junk call. When it comes in, where it comes from, again, I don't care. It does not say somebody who I recognize in there. Now, we're talking about landlines versus cell phones, basically. To me, the only really landline is if you have an AT&T landline connection. No electronic device that does voice over IP at your home. That would just be the wires that come into the telephone, and it rings. If you have UVerse or some other types of setup like I have called UMA or Magic Jack or any number of others from the cable companies, those are voice over IP connections. And those to me are not what this gentleman might have been speaking about as being a traditional landline. Those are going away as fast as AT&T can pull them.
Oh yeah, I know that. No, I've got the original. It's on the wall. It's not going anywhere.
It doesn't matter if it's on the wall or not.
No, it's a direct line. It's
On the
but I do
wall
have
and
it connected
hooked up to a copper wire.
They're all connected to a copper wire. It's just voice over IP if you're using it through an internet connection. And you may not be realizing that AT&T's connection to you is a voice over IP. And it does have a hard connection that can be run through the wire, just like the old ones that you used to have. But I don't think that the call delay that he's speaking of is much of an issue. It'll be something that you have to jump on immediately and call your credit card company to do that, to see if there's a problem. I might suggest that you go online to your credit card company, sign in with your account, and then you can chat with them. The phone system is no longer involved.
Okay, I think hearing no more comments.
I also had another comment about scams. I've seen a number of them recently where they tell you that you have a delayed delivery, there's a package, there's a problem, and it's only going to be $1.98, and this package then can be delivered to you. Well, there was no package. They just would need a credit card number so they can bill your credit card for any amount of money that they want as often as they want. So there's never going to be a delivery charge for something that you have already ordered that's delaying your package coming to you. It's a scam. Now, if your credit card gets compromised in some way, you're looking at the bill and you're seeing that you've got a $10, $20, $15, whatever it is, monthly charge for some type of service that you didn't realize that you signed up for, you need to get a new credit card. There's nothing that you can do to stop those payments going out. A new credit card is the only way to do that. Now, when you do
can.
that, I have a lot of complaint back from the customer saying, hey, I use this for automatic payments for this and this and this and this, and I don't want to have to change all of those. And I'm saying, well, you just might as well give away all your money, because if you don't, they're going to still keep binging your credit card. So my
If you can
suggestion
get-
is when you get a new credit card, you actually get two. It doesn't need to be the same company, but you get two. One is one that you use for your automatic payments, for your credit cards payments, for whatever it is that you need to do automatically every month. You use that for that only. Then you have a second card that you use when you go to the market, when you do your online shopping, anywhere else that's not an automatic payment setup. So if that card gets compromised, it's no big thing. You just cancel it, get a new card, and your automatic payments on the first card continue to go through. That's it.
Thank you, Ross.
Good idea. However, I use PayPal, but it's kind of a credit card, but I feel that having PayPal in between gives me some control.
You can still set up automatic payments. And my wife is working with PayPal right now for things that have been put onto her PayPal account that are automatic payments for computer support that she doesn't need, and she doesn't realize that if and where those came from. So she's going to have to get those off of there. So on any of your accounts, credit card, checking account, PayPal, you need to monitor them and make sure you understand what each one of those bills is. PayPal is a good company that will help you get those payments off, but it's something that you need to monitor yourself.
And if you do find a payment that is bogus, if you call a credit card company, they'll take it off. They'll,
Yes, if it's a credit card or a bank account, that's a personal account. The bank will pull that payment off of there. You have to stay after them sometimes, but they will pull that off. If it's a business account, you have 1 business day to tell them that this account has been compromised.
didn't know that. All right, Will, let's you and I start regular Q&A, not scam Q&A.
Fran has her hand up.
Hank, you just don't like me coming on.
We can't see your hand. It kind of blends out in the wall
Yeah,
behind you.
your hand blends into the background.
Oh,
I
okay.
was gonna say that, yeah.
Okay. In just a comment about Ross's comment about delivery, I get a lot of international stuff, and often there is an extra fee or a brokerage fee, and I've had a lot of concerns about that because I get these vague emails and I don't know whether they're real or not. So I mean, I do understand that. Thank you. But a lot of times they're messages, text messages. And I think that's how I had that hack into my account. My bank account was through a text message that I opened up because I thought it was real. So beware, everybody. And Joan are you the Joan from New Brunswick?
Yes, I am. And if something happens, I had trouble yesterday with Zoom, and I talked to them for an hour. They fixed it up, and I'm still having the problem. And it's disconnecting every 10 seconds. And so if all of a sudden I stop talking, that's why. But I am the one.
Hi,
Yeah, good.
we live really close, actually, in this giant province where you could be 5 hours apart. She's like 30
Well,
minutes away.
Are you in Woodstock?
Yeah,
I know that's only an hour or so up the road.
Yeah.
And who do you have for your service provider?
we have Bell. I have Bell
Oh.
here in the, and then in my office, I have Rogers.
Okay, and see, I have ExploreNet because I'm out in the country, and that's, like I said, they supposedly they fixed everything up yesterday, and it's just worse today. So I'm waiting for a call back. So if I disappear, that's why.
Okay.
Drop in sometime when you're driving down 105 because the door's always open.
Patricia,
See, an hour for me is like way too long. I like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. But my question is, I haven't Googled this. It came up this morning, actually, when I was getting on. I'm having issues with the computer, so I have to restart practically every other day. So, but I had done some work over the last couple of days, and I didn't want to restart it. If I restart this thing, am I going to lose all my little things that I have down here at the dock, all these things that I'm doing? I don't really want to lose them because it took forever to find them.
Well,
Lose what?
so if this is in your Mac,
Right.
okay, so that when you tell it to restart, there's the option to say, open everything back up the way it was before.
Okay, so now it's not technically opened. They're just lined up on the dock.
If they're showing on the dock, they're open.
Okay.
Those
All
are
right.
web pages that or documents or whatever it is. That's just a queuing area that shows you this is the things that you have active.
Okay, well, it doesn't have the little dots on the bottom of them. You know how on the Mac.
That's
if
an
you-
app that has a dot on it. The other might be a document.
Oh, yeah, they are, well, they're apps and documents. Okay, all
So
right, so,
a document, an app is going to have a dot underneath it, an app. So if you have a document, say in your Pages program, it'll show up on as a picture there or an image. Okay.
okay,
Now, if you have too many of those open, you have used up all of the computer's memory, the RAM memory. And that's why when you restart, it empties that pool and then things come back again. If you tell it to open everything back up again, if it's a problem with one of those apps, then it's like telling the computer to go to sleep and come back. It still has that issue. You might try to limit the number of things that you have open.
okay. All right, good enough. Well, eventually I'll get rid of it. They're all problems I have to solve. So eventually I'll get rid of them all, but not right now.
Will,
Thank you, Ross.
Yeah, along those same line, I notice sometimes when I open up Microsoft Word, that in the left pane, there will be several documents shown there, and that essentially asks me, which ones do I want to save, or
Yeah.
that's paraphrased.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how to handle that.
Can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Am I breaking up? Can you hear me
Yes.
now? Okay, I don't know quite how to handle that when it asks me what ones I want to save.
well, that whole thing in Word is a system that automatically saves anything you had open,
Well,
whether or not you had saved it to your computer somewhere. So
it's not.
even if you had saved it to your computer somewhere, if there'd been any adjustment to that document after you saved it, Word will, if you shut down while that document is open, Word will save the latest version of it and ask you, do you want to save it? Meaning, do you want to save this latest version that you had open?
That's usually there.
If you will.
It's there, and from Microsoft for Office, all the Office products. Let's say if your computer crashed or you went up and said you clicked on the X and closed that application like Word and left those documents open. Microsoft then will back up that particular file as you're working on it. So in case, again, you lose the connection to that application, and then when you come back up again, it says, oh yeah, by the way, last time you were here, you had these 6 things open and you'd made changes to those documents, but you didn't save them. What do you want to do? Do you want to abandon them? Do you want to save them under a different name? You can do those things by clicking on each one of those items that was left open.
Okay, thank you.
You usually shouldn't get those unless your system is crashing.
Okay, I actually got another question. Actually, I have another question, probably for Ross, since he answered the other one. But one of the things that I have that's down here that I would like to get out, it's on the dock thing, is I downloaded a PDF on 5G. We were having a class on that. So I downloaded that. And so it's now on the dock, but I want to put it on the desktop. But every time I drag and drop it to the desktop, it pops back up to the dock, and I don't want it on the dock. So how do I get rid of that?
It acts to me like you still have it. You still have an application that's has that application open. Can you close that? Can you right click on it and say close?
Well, but I want to keep it on my desktop. So how do I get it? If I close it, I won't be able to find it, will I? Or how does that work?
Well, if you click on it and do a file save as, then you will know where you're putting it.
You might even be able to save as to your desktop.
All I have is the only, I have open 5G handout.pdf. That's all I have on here. I don't have any save here, move here, or anything. I just have open.
So when you open it.
So open it and then something will pop up. I hope.
When you open it, then you should have that option to save. Whatever program is being used to open your PDF. And you can save a copy to your desktop. After you have a copy saved to your desktop, you should be able to drag the one that you have there to your trash can.
Okay, well, I'm looking at it now and they've got information plus or minus. Oh, I have a share, but I don't have I got highlights. I've got, like, if I want to rotate it.
On the upper left-hand side, there's not where it says file.
Well, that's on preview. Okay, so just use that one.
That lets you look at it, and then it should let you save it.
Yeah, actually, yeah, okay. All right, I can do it that way. I didn't know I was able to do it that way. Okay. Let's see what pops up. I just hit save. Of course, I have so many things open.
Okay, and then you can always go up to the Apple and go down the list and say force close, and it should show up in that list of the PDF, and you should be able to force close that. And then it should disappear off the dock.
Okay, I think I have too many things open to really find it now. I hit save, but nothing happened. So,
well,
I'll play around with it some more. I don't want to take up more time. I'll figure it out. Probably here somewhere.
Okay, Hank is gone for the moment. Any other questions we have for Q&A? Yeah, Dan.
I've noticed something on my email that maybe someone has some interesting stuff about it. Normally, if you put your mouse on the sender of the email, it will tell you where it came from.
Yes.
There are now several emails in my spam box, actually. And if I put the mouse cursor on them, it will not tell me where they came from. Other emails, it does tell me where they came from. But these particular emails, there is no location where they came from. And I don't understand that, why one should do it and another one doesn't. But that's what I've noticed on my email.
So Dan, what email client are you using?
Hotmail.
So you're going to hotmail.com and you're looking at these items.
Yes.
Okay, well, to me, the fact that it's in your spam folder means to me 98%, as you know, it's probably nothing that you want to mess with.
That is correct.
Why it's not showing up in there, the bad guys may have found a way to make sure that you can't see the real email address.
That's what I'm saying, is there must be some way to hide the sender's email address.
I understand.
Yeah, either that or the Hotmail system has disabled all of the links that are in the email, so you don't accidentally click on it while it's in your spam.
But the other items in the spam, I can see where they came from.
Okay, well,
I understand. So a feature in Outlook is that if you open up the email, you can look at what's called the headers on that email. And it shows you the full path and the dates and the times that it was sent from this server to that server to this server. And you can see all that information and all the to and from that's there. But that's the only way I know to do that is in Outlook. Take
I
that
used to be
and
able to see that in AOL, and I haven't seen it in a while. Oh, look.
once you get those headers in Outlook, you can copy that and go to a company called MX Toolbox, and they will let you paste in that header, and it gives it to you in a readable fashion.
so Ross, for us people that do have Outlook, how do you see the headers?
You have to open the email.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so let me do that over here, and you go up to File and go
Yeah.
down to Properties.
Okay, I've got info save, save as, print and close. I don't, oh, I see properties here. There we are. Okay, properties.
Okay, and then it says Internet Headers.
Right. Mhm. And there's all that stuff there. Okay.
It's all that stuff in there, and it gets to be, again, a lot of information there, and it's hard to decipher what it is. But if you highlight that whole thing, and you go to a company called mxtoolbox.com, one of their tools is to analyze headers. And you can paste that in there, and it will give you a format that's a little easier to look at.
Thank you.
Pat?
Yep, I have another question for Ross. Same thing. Well, I got the little seminar stuff off of the dock, but it's now into preview. And when I hit preview to save, well, actually, it's like you send it somewhere. It's in like mail, messages, airdrop, and notes. So there's nothing that says that saving it to the desktop or anything like that. Or is that just not one of my options if I do this thing? Or how do I get it to my desktop? I really want to know my desktop.
Pat, what are you using for this is a PDF, correct?
She's on a Mac, and the Mac has a tool called Preview that helps you look at almost all of the types of files. Again, in Preview, it doesn't give you the option to save it, or does it show you where you are on that? It shows you that you're in another subfolder on mail and messages.
No, well, I'm not sure what you meant by that. Well, I'm just looking at the top of the preview thing where it says, you know, my 5G handout, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
PDF, 10 pages worth, so I don't want to print it out or anything. but I wanted to just kind of save it to the desktop so I can like read it, because I never did really read the whole thing.
So can you go to your email and find it in there and then save that attachment to your desktop?
Well, I think that's about the only way to do it. It seems rather a roundabout way of doing that.
Why is that? It's an email and it's an attachment in the email. So that's where it is. Preview happens to be showing it to you there. But again, I would go back to my email and then find that attachment and then do that within my email client.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, so from here, I should be able to, oh, brother, just says open it. Oh, it says save attachment. I'll save it.
There you go.
I don't know where it's gonna go, but now we got the rolling.
It should give you that option. When you say save, it should ask you where you want to save it.
Oh, yeah, here we go. It actually does. I think it does, because now it says cancel. Okay, now it says save. Okay. All right. And it says, oh, no, it went
You
to-
done, Pat?
Okay, okay, I will take care of it. Thank you.
Hank, Hank,
I want to show you all by sharing my screen how to do what Ross says he can do in Outlook. I've discovered I can do it, which surprised and pleased me. Just a minute. And I will share this with you. Here we go. Here is an email that I received from our kid this morning. And pretty simple email. And up at the top, I have a lot of options as to what I can do with that email, like keep as new, reply, forward it, and so forth. And over here, it says more. If I click more, that's the place where I can move this email to some place, to a whole bunch of places. I have new folders to keep all the emails I've ever received by month. But on there is one more thing that I had never noticed before that says view message source. And when I click that, I think you can see this now.
No, we see a
No.
big black box.
You see a big black box. Okay, well, it's what Ross was talking about. It says at the top, it says received from 18.26.14.96 by atlas209.aol mail, blah, 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 Yahoo. And goes on down with all sorts of information about that, about how that email was processed to get it to me. So the reason I'm showing this, I realize probably none of you have AOL as your mail thing, but if you really hunt around and what you can do with any email, you will probably find some block that says view message source or something similar. And that might be interesting to you. I'm done.
I have a comment about Gmail, trying to find that same information. And if I may share my screen, I'll show you what I've found and see if this is what Ross was talking about, if I may.
You may.
This is what I got when I asked to see details on the original screen. Is this the kind of information that Ross is referencing? Or is there something else that this is not?
That's a portion of it.
Okay, this is all I could find. And
how did you get there?
let me go back a screen. This is the message, and I went over here to the 3 dots, and I went down to show original, I believe. Show original, and that's what I got from show original.
Okay, if you scroll down, because I did the same thing, in the light, there's the text down at the bottom. That's
Okay, I didn't do that. Thank you.
And that looks exactly like mine did that you all couldn't see.
that's right.
It was black.
And it gives you each step that it went through, who approved it, which server got it, and who they forwarded it to.
Wow.
And you realize
Wow.
every time an email goes anywhere, all that stuff happens. It's one of the reasons that the internet is not free.
If I say copy to clipboard, does that get all of this stuff too?
I understand your question. You'll have to try it.
Oh, okay. I don't really care. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that most 99% of the people will never need to go in and look at that. So again, if you're seeing an email that's coming to you that you think it's coming from Bob Smith, and you go in here, then you might be able to see actually where it's coming from.
Well, here's the from on the, you might call this a summary of all of this stuff.
No, that's so when you configure your email address, you tell it when somebody replies who you want it to reply to. That's what you're seeing up there where it's coming from.
Oh, okay. So that's not necessarily really where it's coming from?
No, so scroll down and look. In the
Scroll
black, down in that
Oh,
area.
down.
Yeah.
I'm lost. I don't know what I'm looking for.
Stan, there will
Yes.
be a line that begins with the word from, and that's the line you're looking for. You could do a Control F and search for it.
Okay.
And,
Do
and,
this,
and
Stan.
Stanley, the copy to clipboard does copy all that stuff. And you can take that and paste it back into the email analyzer that Ross talked to. I tried that and it does dejumble it a lot for you.
Yes. So if you were to
Okay.
highlight all of that, right click and copy it, go to mxtoolbox.com. There's a tool there that would let you go through and analyze all that information.
Wow. I haven't looked at all that, but does that also tell you about all the handshaking that took place as it moves through the internet?
That's what it's telling you.
Okay. That's as far as I want to go.
Barbara,
So could
Yeah.
you stop sharing, Stan?
I'll just make a comment. I'm just looking on my Yahoo email. And I noticed when I go to the three dots, I have a view raw message, and that comes up with the same information.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
And getting back to Dan's original question, because he's in Hotmail, basically, anytime you're in a web browser, there's always a right click and a choice to say view source, which is similar to what Hank was showing and what Stan demonstrated. And if it's an email message page that you're on, you will see that same type of information.
because it has to happen. That all that stuff has for email that goes anywhere.
If you want it to come to you, yes.
I seem to remember looking at view source on several browsers or clients, but some of them don't have it. So I'm not going to argue with you about it. Some of them I couldn't find it, I guess.
Well, let me just say that it's very easy for people to spoof the from address. So even if you find it, it may not be legitimate.
Yes. It's not all worth digging into. Just sometimes I get curious and I get all these messages that somebody's hacked my Facebook account, which I don't even have a Facebook account.
Yep.
So, it'd be nice to know if they're all from the same person.
You know,
And what difference would that make?
Mary Ray has her
You could
physical
look,
hand up, not her virtual hand.
if they all came from the same place, you could look at other addresses and see if someone is doing other things to you too.
Mary
Go ahead, Mary.
Manta, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It seems like I have two email boxes and I only want one. What do I need to do?
Where are you getting your email? Where are you reading it on your computer? Are you reading it in Outlook?
I don't know.
Gmail,
Probably Gmail because I get Gmails.
is that your email address? What
No.
is your email address?
mrfosite@gmail.com.
Okay, you're getting it at Gmail.
Okay, I'm getting it at Gmail.
But if in your Outlook, excuse me, in your Gmail configuration, it may be showing two different configurations as if it was two different addresses. I have 5 email addresses I have in my Gmail account.
Just
And
have
that you're telling me you're seeing 2 inboxes.
they say it's in the other inbox. Well, I only think I have one email box, but apparently
You mentioned that you are seeing 2 different inboxes. Do they have the same information in both of those?
I don't know.
If they're different information, they're from different accounts. My guess is if you open up the second one that you normally do not use, that again, it's configured in your system as an account in Gmail at gmail.com when you go to the settings. So there's a setting in there, second email address or an attempt to set up an account. If there's nothing in there, then it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so forget it.
Well, we'd like to help you.
I know.
Do you know how to share your screen with us?
No,
We could teach you pretty quick. I don't see anybody else's hand up. Let's see. Can you see the little green box at the bottom of your screen that says share screen?
oh, yes, I do.
Okay, before you do that, can you go to your email screen and make sure it is showing somewhere else? Right now, you're probably looking at the Zoom program where you see all of our faces in boxes.
Right.
But you probably could run your email program also, only not be looking at it right now.
Correct.
So if you are running your email program, or you were running your email program before you started Zoom, if you click share screen, you'll get a bunch of other things that are running in your computer. And if you click on the one that looks like your email program, before you click the box that says share, we should see that. You want to try it? Click the green box.
Okay, I have the thing at the bottom, so I'll just click my email.
Yeah. And then click share in the lower right corner of that box that came up when you click the green box.
Okay, I'm clicking my mail with the left click. Okay.
No, you're not sharing with us yet.
Oh, well,
You have to click the word that says share in the lower right corner of the screen that you got after you click the green box.
okay, well,
Click the green box and then click share.
and where does it say share?
So Mary Ray, are you on a Mac or a PC?
I'm an Apple.
Apple, okay.
Okay, I'm
So
I'm helping you with your Windows, which doesn't help.
So
I don't know, maybe I need to get somebody out here to do it because I get,
Yeah. Saul, can you show Mary Ray how to share a screen?
Yeah, but I was going to say that it's the same on a Mac or Windows as far as the Zoom app. The share dialog box is the same.
Let's see, I don't think, yeah, I guess I can. Let me see if I can show Mary Ray what I'm talking about.
mailbox here. Okay, I clicked mailbox. So now I have mailbox and I have all my emails on that.
Yeah, but you're not sure with us.
not doing the right thing.
Let me show you what I'm talking about. Or I'll try anyway. Yeah, here we go. Okay, good. Now, just a minute. Patience, please. Share. Save. All right. Now, I will share my screen with everybody. Maybe somebody else will learn something besides Mary Ray. At least I think I will. Okay. Down here. There is, whoops, no, it's not. What happens when I click share screen? Huh. Okay. I do not get an option to do that.
If you want, I'll give this a try.
I did a screenshot of my share screen, and I'm trying to share the screenshot, but the screenshot does not come up. Whoops. Is that me doing all that? Shame on me.
I presume.
Go ahead, David.
Okay.
You said you'd give it a shot?
Yeah. So you guys should be able to see my whole screen here, including you guys on there.
Yep.
So if I come down to the bottom and I'm at share screen, I click on the share screen, and you should see that I've got two screens. I got one screen I'm sharing now. I have another screen. I have that, and I have my Outlook app. I click on the Outlook app, and then
then you click in the lower right box that I was trying to get Mary Ray to find, right there,
Yeah.
Mary Ray. See
Right
where
there,
he
the
is
share.
now? Lower right?
Right there in the share. When I hit that share, now instead of seeing everything, you see my email application, and I can move that up and down and share things. And then when I'm done, I can hit, there's a little bar that's floating and it says stop share, and then we stop sharing. But by being able to share my whole desktop window, you were able to see how I was doing things. Mary Ray, did that make any sense to you?
Not for me.
Okay.
Maybe I just will let it go and work something else out. Have somebody come in here and do it.
Well, Mary Ray, maybe not this meeting.
We're trying to work over your shoulder right now by long distance instead of somebody having come to your house.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
so
what this organization is supposed to do, and
That's
pretty
fine.
well.
Yeah. So we'll try this one more time. I'm going to share my desktop so you guys can see everything that's there. And then in my window that here, I hit the share screen and it pops up that little window in the middle. You can see that.
And that little window in the middle is all the stuff that he is running on his computer right now. And
so I've got two different screens. I have my Microsoft Outlook program. I have a browser. And over here is that the task manager, which Will was asking about earlier. And so, I could share that, but if I want to go share my, I'll share my browser. I'll click on that. It's turned blue. Did you see it turn blue? And then I click the button that says share down here, moving my mouse around it. And I say share, and now it shares my Google window, which happens to be in my Gmail. And I've got, my inbox, and I've got various other different things that I've sorted things into. And then when I'm done, I could stop share on that, so I can stop sharing. And I'm not sure, does that show up as a little black area on your screens now or not?
No, not on yours, David.
Yeah. Okay, so I can just hit stop share, and I've now stopped sharing. We're back into the group that way.
Mary Ray, there should be an easier way to just delete one of your email accounts. Delete the one you don't want. I don't know that you need to go through all this to do that.
Yeah, it depends too on, do you have two different email addresses that people are sending you?
No.
So you just got two different places you're seeing the same emails?
Well, I go email and they said it's in the other box. Well, I don't know what other box I have.
Who is saying it's in the other box?
On the note that I get, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I just sort of ignore it.
I wonder if maybe she has some email forwarding or something that's going on. Ross, do you have any thoughts?
The only other box it might be in is like a spam folder. So if someone is saying, here, I sent this to you, but if you don't see it, you might need to look over here, which is a folder called spam. And Google will put things into the spam folder or one of the other folders like for marketing and updates and those types of things. It'll move things into other folders.
Okay.
It also sounds like she might have two email addresses, different ones, or it may just be a duplicate of one email address.
Okay, maybe it's a duplicate. I would go for that one.
Yeah, because Mary Ray, one of the reasons that we like people to be able to share their screens is when we can see what you see, we may notice things that are not salient to you.
Well, I don't know how to get to it to show you.
Okay.
That's
Right.
what we were trying to help.
Let's try it again. I'm a slow learner, so.
Well, we get lots of that around here.
I gotta go.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanst, Ross.
Right.
Ripley has his hand up.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One is I used to be able to see subtitles. And down at the bottom, I don't see any entry for subtitles. Where would that be? Is it under apps?
Are you referring to the Zoom closed captioning?
Yes, the Zoom.
Live transcript. That's what you're looking for, is live transcript.
Okay, if I go into live transcript, oh, there it is, subtitle settings. Okay, thank you. That answered that question. I guess, where is it? I brought up
The
that.
top of the three choices will be show subtitles or hide subtitles if they're already on.
Well, okay, live transcript. Okay, show subtitles. There it is. Okay, thank you. That shows it. Second question. How do I turn on recording? Are we allowed to do our own separate recording?
So in that same place that you were just looking, mine shows record on this computer.
Live transcripts.
And when I do that, it says, please ask host to give you permission to record. It's one of the settings on a meeting.
Okay, I only see three things on live transcript. One is hide subtitle, view full transcript, subtitle settings. I don't see recordings.
Next is live transcript, and mine is record.
Or you
No.
can do an alternate key, ALT key, and the R. And see if you get a
Okay.
pop-up from that.
Yeah, okay.